now cross live to Abuja, where the apex leader of the concerned PDP League is holding a press conference on the ongoing controversy over the party's national secretaryship. The briefing is titled "The Unacceptable Narratives of the National Secretaryship Issue and the Undemocratic Attempt to Install an Outsider." This comes as legal proceedings continue at the Supreme Court. Do stay tuned.
Consigned PDP League, CPDPL, Comrade Dawike Obzakio Summit on the unacceptable and unpopular narratives on the national secretaryship issue and the undemocratic attempt to enthrone a misfit by some desperate politicians without waiting for the Supreme Court pronouncement on the matter today, Monday, 17th March 2025. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is with a deep sense of burden and serious concern for the political stability and survival of our dear great political party, the People's Democratic Party, that we address you today. From unfolding political events in our great party, the latest being the brazen attempt by some PDP governors, National Working Committee members, Board of Trustee members, expelled members, and political liabilities like Kola Ologbodiyan and political hush puppy like Ikenga Imogochiere to install a misfit as National Secretary and create unpopular and unacceptable narratives to justify their undemocratic actions on the matter and trying to blackmail the Supreme Court justices and the purported disciplinary committee recommendation for Senator Samuel Nnemeka Anyanwu expulsion has made it very clear that our great party is under a political virus attack. If we may ask, why are these governors and their pawns in the NWC and BOT are so bent in such a desperate hurry to via the back door install Honorable Sunday Ido Okoye? That is the question we're asking. Just a few days ago, precisely on March 13, 2025, INEC lawyers informed the Federal High Court in Abuja that are awaiting Supreme Court ruling on the PDP National Secretaryship matter. That was a prudent, popular, and logical submission by INEC that deserves commendation. Is this not the wise course of action for our party as well? Yet some governors are blackmailing the party leadership with a threat to leave the party. Them and their collaborators within the NWC and BOT have turned a blind eyes and deaf ears, insisting on acting in an illegality. I just want to clear this point. INEC lawyers, it is here, I will want to read it as published by Vanguard newspaper. The electoral body, in a counter affidavit it filed in opposition to the suit, argued that it will be in the interest of justice for all the parties to wait for the outcome of an appeal on the dispute already pending before the Supreme Court. And it's very funny. The Supreme Court has said, has told all parties to go home, and they'll communicate to them the day they will deliver judgment, and the parties will come for judgment. So why the hurry? Those governors of PDP should tell us, why are they hurrying to install a misfit? Somebody that has been accused of forging our document, our guidelines, party guidelines, somebody that is forged, that has been accused to forge this document. Somebody that came with talks to disrupt against Section 58 of PDP Constitution, the BOT meeting. Why are the governors and those that are collaborating with them in the BOT and NWC cannot wait for the Supreme Court judgment? Are they telling us that they are already aware of the judgment and cannot wait. That is why they insisted that Udoke should resume office. It is INEC lawyer. This is the submission, and we must commend INEC for that. We always criticize INEC, but when they do what is right, what is in accordance with the law, we should commend them. And we want to commend INEC for that bold step. To have said that there is a pending matter, and it's not just for hearing, judgment will soon be delivered. So why can't those people that are fronting a misfit to be the national secretary of our party? I've received calls from over 5 countries since the last, the last purported NWC meeting. From Saudi Arabia, from US, from Germany, Nigerians, PDP members in diaspora say what kind of useless person they are bringing to be NWC, PDP national secretary. When we know that we have a case before the court to decide who will be, and they are bringing somebody because they are governors. No, we will not accept that. And that is why we are trying to say that all the parties, as said by the court, should wait until the Supreme Court make a pronouncement on that. Until the Supreme Court make counter-pronouncement, Senator Anyanwu remains the National Secretary of PDP. Let me continue. If we may ask, let me go. The Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, in appeal number CA/E/24/2024, and also bearing motion number CA/E/01M/2025, which was heard and determined on Monday, the 13th of January 2025, in which the presiding justice, Honorable Justice Hama Akawo Baraka, ordered that accordingly, that was his statement, his interim injunction, all parties are enjoined to maintain the status quo, ante bellum, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. The question we want to ask is that what is the origin and meaning of the word and the word ante bellum? Because it seems like some of our lawyers don't read, or they just use the word, they don't look for the origin of the word. The word ante bellum, it simply means before the war, a Latin word that was borrowed into the English word and was first used in 1840 by English word, by the Briton. So when they said ante bellum, that was the word the court used, before the war. And this national secretaryship issue started in 2023. And before 2023, I want to ask, who was the national secretary of PDP? Who was the national secretary of PDP? Before the Senator Anyanwu took his nomination form as indicated interest to contest the PDP governorship of Imo State. Who was the national secretary? So you have a judgment at the Enugu High Court. You got a judgment at the Enugu Division of Appeal Court. Now, an appeal court in Abuja has given an order, because some of them, the argument is that you cannot stay a declarative judgment. That is what they've been arguing. You cannot stay a declarative judgment. But the question I want to ask them too, by law, that was what they are claiming. But the question I want to ask them too is that by law, can you disobey a court order? A court has made a pronouncement, rightly or wrongly. Let's assume. So you will say, because the law said like this, you know obey what the court said and follow it. Because the last judgment regarding this case, or the last order, is this particular one given by their honorable justices, that because it's high time we make Nigerians know the truth, and not people, few privileged persons that have access to the media will now be confusing party faithfuls and Nigeria. Look at the order. This is what I want to read it. One of the prayers of Anyanwu, because they said you cannot stay a declarative judgment. That was what they said. And in our Anyanwu's prayer, he said, an order of injunction restraining the first respondent, their agent, previous, or otherwise, however, described from enforcing or giving effect to the judgment of this court delivered on the 20th of December 2024. Let me continue reading before I explain more about that. They have claimed that by the law, a declarative judgment cannot be stayed, but pretend and failed to mention that by law, you cannot disobey court orders, not minding if the order was given in line with the law or not. Wrongly or rightly, you are bound to obey court order. And that in law, an order of injunction can be used to restrain a beneficiary of a declarative judgment, not to give effect to the judgment. And that is what the order given by Honorable Justice has done. They said you cannot stay, but they forgot that a declarative judgment can be, an order can be given for it not be effected. And this is the order given by His Lordship, Honorable Justice Baraka. And they are denying it, underplaying it, that they will not respect it except they want the declarative judgment given because of political interest. So who are they deceiving? Today, the problem we are facing in PDP is some governors that want the ambition, because of the ambition, want to sacrifice the party. What is wrong? Nigerians should see the order. Look at it, I just read it. After this order, they went to Supreme Court. Why not wait? Let the Supreme Court make its pronouncement before. If the Supreme Court said, Anyanwu should remain the national secretary, so be it. If the Supreme Court said, God forbid, but if the Supreme Court says so, so be it. But not before then. You will not jump and say that you select this or you will not select that. That will not be accepted. We all are PDP members. From 1999, I've been a PDP member. Even as a student, I was appointed as special aide to the secretary of my local government. So I have a stake in PDP. I don't need to be a governor. I don't need to be a BOT member. Some of them, when it comes to politics, voting time, they don't come out. They don't come out to vote. And they want to destroy the party we have been laboring for. Who say no? And that's why I want to tell Nigerians and party faithful in Nigeria and abroad to know the truth. Let me continue reading. Those governors started the destabilization of the party by engaging services of a political hush puppy and a political liability to call for the resignation or removal of the national chairman under the guise that the North Central has to complete their term. When that failed, they caused division in the NWC by pitching some of the NWC members against the national chairman and the national secretary, to the extent that the national treasurer laughably declared himself as national chairman. Oh God. With the support of these same people, rather. And when that also failed, they tried to blackmail the party leadership with those that are leaving the party and decamping to other parties for selfish reasons and also reasons because the governors overbearing attitude, which has given negative effect to the party. Now, they are claiming that the PDP leadership has failed. Meanwhile, the issue here is that the governors, first they wanted to remove the national chairman. They failed in that aspect. Some of them, not all, I must be clear about that. Secondly, they now went into the NWC. Invite this one in the night. Leave this one. Instead of inviting all the NWC members, invite some of them and left some of them, and cause division in the NWC. Just because of their personal interests. And at the end, the last bus stop for their fight is to ensure that the national secretary is removed. It will not be removed. It is only Supreme Court decision that will remove Anyanwu, and nobody can remove it. Let me continue reading. And the ultimate plan to destabilize and destroy the party was the attempt by the governor, Bala Mohammed-led PDP Governor Sorum, to illegally remove the most distinguished senator Samuel Nnaemeka Anyanwu as national secretary. The Enugu State governor and self-acclaimed leader of PDP in the southeast and the orchestrator of the attempt to remove the most distinguished senator Samuel Anyanwu as national secretary has failed in uniting the party in the Southeast. Under his purported leadership, all the states in his zone are having one issue or the other. All he's interested in is to remove the national secretary at the expense of the stability of the party. Why is he interested in what Imo State has? Abia State has Deputy National Legal Advisor. Anambra has National Auditor. His own state of Enugu has Deputy National Treasurer. Ebonyi State has National Vice Chairman. South is expelled. And Imo State National Secretary. Why does he want to deprive Imo State? Why is he supporting Ogochie, who is an APP member, but is on sabbatical in PDP just to destroy it? Why? If you so believe in the party, why not provide leadership for the party in the Southeast? Is it providing leadership in the party in the Southeast for the party? Is it by removing Anyanwu that you are providing leadership? Our cosmos should be questioned and know that people are they are party members. Not somebody who get up and said no. And this morning I was listening to one of our former legal advisor saying that the Southeast people removed him. It is so shameful that some of our leaders that have access to media will come and speak without backing it with the Constitution. Relying on their former, past glories. There is no part of the PDP Constitution here where a zone can remove anybody. And they claim that Anya will resign from the party to go and contest election. It is laughable when we see some stories. People come up and claim that the National Secretary, Anya will resign and went to contest for election. Senator Anya did not resign. I'll bring the letter. He did not resign. Senator Anya took leave. This is the leave letter. Wrote to INEC, signed with him and the national chairman, asking the Deputy National Secretary to act. So why these leaders are going to media to lie that Anya will resign? He resigned in their bedroom. For crying out loud. This is becoming disgusting. We don't have role model in some of these leaders that Anya will resign. Look at it. Anya did not resign. He took leave of absence and went to contest. And let me make that clear. He's not the first person. We've had a national treasurer that had gone to contest, came back. We've had a national publicity deputy publicity secretary that went to contest, came back. And we've had a governor, a sitting governor, that contested, won the election, won his general election, remained till he was sworn in before he left as state chairman. So why this wrong narrative? Why this wrong narrative? That is what we are here to correct and let Nigeria know that there is no such thing that Netanyahu will resign. That there is no such thing in this constitution, PDP Constitution section 47(5) that say you must resign. And I laughed when I watched him because he claimed that in that section, it was shall before they removed it to may. And for crying out loud, as a legal person, the word may, what does it imply? It's not compulsory. So it wasn't compulsory for Netanyahu to resign. And that's why he took leave of absence, went back, came back to resume. But they are painting it as if he resigned, and the section they are quoting that removed him, there's nothing like that. Let me continue reading. At this point, a few days ago, in trying to create the impression that the impostor national secretary has illegally assumed office, they did arrange NWC meeting with Honorable Sunday Dokoye, present, and the expelled National Vice Chairman, Southeast Chief Ali Odefa, also present. What a shame. They claim that are bringing Sunday Dokoye, that they are obeying court order. That was their claim. But the same people are disobeying several court orders. Several. Now, a federal high court in Abakaliki has confirmed the expulsion of Chief Ali Odefa. What was he doing in that purported NWC meeting? The so-called people that are obeying court order, The so-called people that are obeying court order did not recognize the stay of execution, or call it order of injunction, that let all parties wait pending ante bellum. When the Supreme Court judgment is made, and INEC made a submission to that, it is unfortunate that people will be so desperate to do that, except they are telling us indirectly that they have seen the Supreme Court judgment and it is in their favor. That is why they cannot wait for him to assume office even before the pronouncement of the Supreme Court. Otherwise, why the impatient? Except they are telling us that they have seen the judgment of the Supreme Court and there is no need to wait for him to resume. That's why they force him to resume. Otherwise, the Supreme Court has said, we'll call you for a day for judgment. Why can't you be patient for that judgment to come? If you don't have any ulterior motive, if you don't have any privileged information, and that's why we are trying to let Nigerians and PDP faithful know the truth. I'll continue. At this point, we are compelled to commend the most distinguished senator, Samuel Nnaemeka, for being an excellent gentleman and a peace lover. Can you imagine a situation Senator Samuel Anyanwu attempted to attend the charade called NWC meeting and what would have happened? I just don't want to imagine it. Imagine Senator Anyanwu said, no, I want to be in that meeting because I'm still the national secretary. What would have happened to our party that day? What would have happened to the party? If I say, no, I'm going with my supporters, I must sit because I have not been removed by any instant clause of this land or my party. What would have happened at the secretariat? And that's why I want to commend him and urge all party faithful to maintain such gentleness, and even those that are fighting him to maintain same gentleness, because PDP, nobody can destroy PDP. Be you a former governor, we've had time where governors have decamped from our party. We did not die. So we are calling on our party leaders, moreover those that are pushing a misfit of the person of Fido Okoye as national secretary. We are calling on them to desist from that. Let me continue reading. Today, what is happening in Anambra State is a fallout of the destructive and retrogressive action of our governors that, for the first time in the history of PDP, nobody purchased gubernatorial form. It is a shameful thing. The Enugu State governor that claimed that he's the leader of the party in the Southeast should have hid his face in shame. That Anambra State, till the deadline elapsed, nobody purchased form. As a governor, you could not mobilize. You can only mobilize to remove Anyanwu. You cannot mobilize for PDP to have a sound candidate to take over Anambra State. Then you are not fit to be the leader of the party in the Southeast. At all. You are not. And that is what we want to make our leaders understand. The supposed leader could not even governize and sponsor any candidate. What a shame. A leader could not even we have hoped, like Senator, other capable leaders who would have been given the opportunity. But no, because the governor has failed in taking responsibility, and some people are blaming the NWC. They are blaming the NWC. But you say you are the leader of the party, you are the governor, the only PDP governor in the Southeast. Nobody is arguing that with you. You are the only governor. But what have you done with that? What have you achieved for the party with that? Disunity? Causing tension in the party? By trying to remove somebody that the law is behind him. That is the issue. By law, Anyanwu remains the national secretary. So there is nothing anybody can do until the Supreme Court make a pronouncement. Let me continue. In yet another propaganda to destabilize and destroy PDP, a political liability in the person of Kola Ologbondiyan claimed that Sunday Okoye is the national secretary, and that if the Supreme Court judgment does not favor it, it will shake the foundation of PDP. Where was Kola Ologbondiyan when PDP was formed? In 2000, I was an appointee of PDP in my local government, even at a young age. Kola Ologbondiyan was hustling in his career. So what does he know about the foundation of PDP? That the PDP foundation will shake because truth is being said. How will it shake? When the Kolo Egbojo joined PDP, if not for privilege and godfatherism, will he have been the National Publicity Secretary? He wouldn't have. Let's be frank. We have excellent candidates. He wouldn't have. And today you came and said, except the Supreme Court, you want to blackmail the Supreme Court into doing what you want. That is illegal. My joy about this is that we have sound justices at the Supreme Court. We have people with sound mind at the Supreme Court that cannot be swayed by mere media propaganda and blackmail. The thing is before the Supreme Court. So it will shake the foundation if it doesn't go their way. But if it goes their way, it will not shake the foundation because they bear the foundation of the party. Let me continue with that. Why are they acting as if they have seen the Supreme Court judgment? Because in one vein, they are acting as if they have gotten judgment, and in another vein, subtly threatening the justices to twist them to favor them. Why are they this confused? That is the question. You came to a public national TV to say that if the thing doesn't favor Idokoye, the foundation of PDP will shake. Who is the foundation of PDP? Kolo Ologbodio should come and tell us who is the foundation of PDP, that he knows that if peradventure the Supreme Court said this is the truth, will shake the PDP foundation. People just come to media and lie and say all sorts of things because they have access to media. And we are out for them. We are out for them because we will always expose their lies. We will always expose their lies. It is in our constitution. I'm not saying it's in our constitution, section 45, subsection 5. That you can go and contest and come back. What of our governors? Governors that will contest, they'll go to this thing, governor's own chairman. That use even as what is it called? A placeholder. Went to contest for president, came back, took the governorship ticket, and contested again. And today is the governor there. For crying out loud. Some leaders should learn how to speak the truth, irrespective of their political interest or affiliation. They should learn how to speak the truth. And also, a political hush puppy like Ogochire has decided to preempt and interpret the Supreme Court judgment in favor of his paymasters to ensure the continued flow of his payment. He has even threatened that if the acting national chairman, Ambassador Umailia Damagu, does not support their illegal bid to bring their impostor national secretary, they will ignite again the call for his removal. This is just to blackmail him into supporting them. And Ogochire has been acting all holy, called PDP leaders, political criminals, and the national secretary a bag carrier for the FCT minister. We want to urge Nigerians to join us and ask Ogochire the following questions. Because in my side, they said if a masquerade behave anyhow, they'll tell him the stick they used to carve it. They should ask Ogochire, who is his wife? Who is his girlfriend? He should come and tell Nigerians. He says it's only. We are probing him now. Who is his wife? Who is his girlfriend? He should come and tell Nigerians. That is a female. Number two, he claimed to have read constitutional law. I want to ask Nigerians. They should ask Ogochire. Was he called to bar? When was he called to bar? He should come and tell Nigerians. He says it's only. It's not a bad carrier. He should come and tell Nigerians. Following the Public Service Code of Conduct Act, he should declare his source of income because he's living a life above his legitimate means. And we are asking him, he should come and declare it. Because you cannot just come out and call leaders. You can criticize leaders. I criticize some of them, but I've never insulted any of them. I've never called them names. But since he has gone that length, we are going to ask him questions. Fourthly, we want to know if you are still a member of the House of Representatives, or an appointee of the River State Governor, or a public relations consultant to the River State Governor. We don't know which one Ogochire is today. I'm a Rivers man. a blue-blooded Rivers man. So Ogochie should come and tell us if he's an appointee of my state governor. Because every single thing happens in Rivers State, Ogochie will speak. Meanwhile, PDP is suffering in Edo State. The local government chairman were removed. Osun State, see what happened to PDP chairman. Did you hear Ogochie speak? There is nothing else concerning PDP except Rivers State and Ayahu and Damagu. So Ogochie should come and tell us if he's an appointee. Because with the public service code, you cannot be a House of Rep member and also be a consultant to a government. You cannot be an House of Rep member and also be an appointee of a government. So Ogochie should come and tell Nigerians. I dare him for a live interview. Live. I dare Ogochie. This is the third time I'm daring him to come. Because you come out and talk carelessly. As if you know everything. And that's why we're asking him to come and tell us about this. He should come and tell Nigerians. Since he said it's not a bad carrier, but I want to clear something. When he said the Ayahu is a bad carrier for the FCT minister, let me shock Ogochie and those that are saying that Ayahu is a bad carrier. Do you know the FCT minister did G5, but Ayahu as national secretary did not do G5. He supported Atiku as a party man. Go and check the record. Ogochie, go and check the record. He supported Atiku. That is the person you are calling a bad carrier. If you don't have your facts, go and learn. I want to continue, please. To add insult to injury in all these atrocious dramas to unseat Senator Samuel Ayahu, it is a laughable and purported recommendation for expulsion, and it's a laughable and a purported recommendation for expulsion by this private committee chaired by Chief Tommy Kimi. You see, when we saw that, we laughed. First, how will a committee, a disparate committee, number one, that committee is improperly constituted. And I'll tell you, this time I want to read some section for us to see that this committee is improperly constituted. But before I read that section, there is another section I want to read. Because the committee, the petition that was sent by one funny group that we've never seen before. One funny group, but look at documents. Since 2001, I've been sending petition to PDP. They have not responded. We have been sending petition. In fact, there was a case we took Oputa, Chambers to write to them, because maybe, as you have seen our letterhead paper, they don't take us serious. We took Oputa Chambers to write to PDP because we saw something that was improper. That in our constitution, based on section 8, subsection 7, the only persons that has the powers to authenticate membership is the national secretary and the national chairman. And even their names ought not to appear, only their designation and their signature. We saw it. We wrote to the party, they ignored it. We petitioned. We now engage Oputa committee, Chambers, to write to the party. They did not respond. But one kangaroo group that one of them must have arranged wrote a petition directly to the, the disparate committee. Quickly, they have responded. But I want to shock party faithful to let you know that that committee is serving someone's interest and not the party's interest. One, the committee is improperly constituted, and I will refer to a section of our constitution. Permit me to, I want to read that section. Section 57(1) said, subject to the provision of this constitution, there shall be a disciplinary committee of the party at every level, consisting of 7 members. 7 members. But today, what do we have? We have 26 members of the disciplinary committee. And anything that is inconsistent with the constitution is null and void. Anything that is inconsistent with the constitution is null and void. So that committee is improperly constituted, and as such, whatever they decide is null and void. That is number one. Number two, this is the invitation sent to Senator Ayahu by the committee. This is the first response he gave to them. He responded to them. He respected the committee as a party man and gave them reasons why he could not make it. And also informed them that this case, this issue you want to talk about is already at the Supreme Court. If it's any other matter, invite me. But if it is concerning this secretaryship matter, it's already at the Supreme Court to be a sub judice for me to talk about it. Let the Supreme Court speak after that. The next thing, they arranged this thing, that one funny group petitioned that why will they petition the party leaders, calling for DSS to protect the property of PDP. I want to also educate some of our leaders because it seems they don't read. I must tell you the truth, if they read the Constitution, they will not. Look at section 35. Section 35, subsection, no, section 36. One of the functions of the National Secretary is to protect the properties of the party. Section 36, 1A said, there shall be a National Secretary who shall be the Chief Administrator and Accounting Officer of the party, whose function shall be to supervise the day-to-day activities of the party. I don't want to read more, just that one. To supervise the day-to-day activities of the party. So if there is issue, a threat to any PDP property, and the National Secretary, in his wisdom, invite security personnel to protect that property, some people will now write letter to a disciplinary committee to say suspend him for trying to protect PDP property. It sounds crazy. Sounds crazy. It only happens in this part of the world. And number two, let me make us understand something. There's a procedure to discipline a member. Before someone of the status of the National Secretary is to be disciplined, you don't just write to the disciplinary committee. Even an ordinary member, you write to the NWC in this case. To the NWC in this case. And the NWC will look at the merit of the petition and see if there is need for them to suspend the person. Even though the NWC suspended, they will still refer to the disciplinary committee. There is no way a petition will emanate from a group, an unknown group, straight to the disciplinary committee. That is not the channel of communication. First to the NWC, from the NWC to the disciplinary committee. The channel is back, just where they purportedly recommend expulsion. Then they will communicate back to the NWC. And these people breach the protocol. For crying out loud, what do they want from PDP that they've not gotten? And that's why people like Bode just said, God forbid he will be a member, sit in a committee with Chief Tomikimi as chairman. Bode George refused. He's a member of the committee, but he refused to sit. So the committee is improperly constituted, their procedure is improperly handled, and do you know the funny thing? The committee agreed with Anyanwu to meet on the 25th or so of April for him to appear before them. And do you know what? Before that date, we saw this purported expulsion. And following our constitution, I want to let them know that their action, when you don't give a party faithful the opportunity to have fair hearing, everything you've done is null and void. But let me read it to Nigerians. Section 57, subsection 6 said, any decision taken against a member who has not been informed of the charges against him or has not been given any opportunity of defending himself shall be null and void. So, our dear disciplinary committee members, your decision to recommend the expulsion of Netanyahu is null and void. I want to make party faith. This is our constitution. I dare anybody to come and counter this. So when we talk, we don't just come to talk. Whenever we use our constitution, they should use the constitution to counter us. Not use their big names to want to intimidate, to want to coerce people to believe their false narrative. No, we will no longer accept that. We will no longer accept that. Let me continue my last section. Following section 57(1) of the PDP Constitution as amended in 2017, A disciplinary committee at every level shall consist of 7 members, but the Chief Tomekimi-led NDC comprises 26 members, which I've shown you the list, making it an improperly constituted committee, as such illegal. And Section 57.3 mandates that petition must pass through the National Working Committee, who will in turn refer it to the disciplinary committee. In the case of Senator Samuel Nnemeka, the PDP National Secretary, no petition was brought against him before the NWC, nor was any petition referred to the NDC by the NWC as required by the Constitution. Instead, Chief Tomekimi-led NDC proposed the suspension of the National Secretary to the NWC without fair hearing. But as provided in Section 57.6, their actions has invalidated their recommendations. Their actions have invalidated their recommendation. Section 57.4 provides that a disciplinary committee shall agree on a place and time for a member to defend themselves. In Senator Samuel Anyanwu's case, he initially requested a later date to defend himself, which was granted. Due to unforeseen circumstances, he sought another date, which was agreed upon to be around April 2025. Shockingly, despite this agreement, the NDC hastily prepared a document purportedly recommending this expulsion of Senator Samuel Anyanwu. This is blatant disregard for fairness and the principle of natural justice, further reinforcing the committee's lack of credibility and its apparent bias. Lastly, because I've talked about that, what offense has Senator Samuel Nnemeka Anyanwu committed to deserve this satanic conspiracy to remove him? We want to know. Because we followed the event. We've not, what has he committed? What offense? And we're expecting as party faithful that they'll say Senator Anyanwu has ate PDP money. Senator Anyanwu has not provided, has infringed on the PDP constitution. There's nothing they have shown us. Rather than trying to fight a proxy war, proxy ambition, projecting their ambition or proxy ambition. That is what we see. Nothing more. And that's why we're insisting that the right thing must be done. As we speak today, we want Nigerians, party faithfuls in Nigeria and abroad, in diaspora, to know that distinguished Senator Nnemeka Samuel Anyanwu remains the National Secretary in line with all extant laws. Let me read the final paragraph. Why this selective obedience to court orders? We want to remind those governors and their pawns in the NWC and the BOT that since Nigeria's first republic, no political party has lasted as long as PDP. At a time in the history of our party, we lost then 5 governors, a former vice president produced by our party, former national chairman, former governors, former senators, former active members, name them, the camp, still yet, PDP survived it, and not only that, it is still unarguably the bride of Nigerians and politicians. Therefore, nobody should think they can destroy PDP, destabilize or kill PDP. PDP we are tirelessly working for. PDP governed Nigeria for 16 uninterrupted years and left Nigeria as one of the fastest growing economies and others. Our legacy is unarguably, undeniably, unimaginably the best, and the party is undergoing renewal process. Long live PDP, long live Nigeria. Thank you. I will entertain questions if there is any question. If there is any question, yes.
I would like to ask a few questions.
Please go ahead.
The first question has to do with the ruling of the Supreme Court, the last appearance, the last time they sat.
Yes.
Are you aware that the lawyer to
Okay, can I answer that, please, sir? Okay, there are two. Okay, let me take the second one. Please go ahead.
You also said the disciplinary committee was improperly constituted.
Yes, please.
Are you also aware that the disciplinary committee was constituted in 2024 when Senator Anyanwu was the national chairman, the national secretary of the party? There was no contest about his office in the party, and he was part of those who constituted the disciplinary committee that Tom Kim is leading. If it was improperly constituted, are you saying, in essence, that Senator Anyanwu was part of that illegality? Or you are describing them as improper committee now because they are recommending the expulsion of Senator Anyanwu?
Thank you very much. Let me start with your first one. The last sitting at the Supreme Court, I was there. And let me tell you what happened. Not I was told, I was at the Supreme Court live. What their Lord Justices said was that when the lawyer to, I think, Idokoye said, there is an appeal before the Supreme Court, their Lord Justices said, it is inconsequential. It is not it is inconsequential. So you don't need to talk about it. And the lawyer of Idokoye insisted, and they said, we don't grant stay of execution. We don't grant stay of execution. The Supreme Court, that was the statement of their Lord Justice, that we don't grant stay of execution. But when the lawyer to Idokoye also insisted, they said they were even angry and almost asked him to sit down. Insisted, they now said, okay, for formality, just apply for withdrawal, verbal application for the withdrawal of the stay of execution. And that was how Senator Nnemeka Anyanwu's lawyer withdrew the stay of execution filed at the Supreme Court. But if that is the case, the stay of execution that we are talking about, and I just showed you while I was addressing you, was given by the appeal court, Abuja division, that stayed or gave an order of injunction that every party should go back and let the status quo remain, ante bellum. So that one was given on the 13th of January. So that one is still, has not been contested. So that one, that particular stay of execution has not been vacated. So why would they now look at the Supreme Court when there is already one? Is it not the appeal court judgment they use to say Idokoye should come in? And same appeal court, Abuja division, stay that judgment. You say you don't want it. So that, let me use their Lord Justice's words, is inconsequential. The withdrawal of the stay of execution by Senator Nnemeka Anyanwu, what is it called? Lawyer at the Supreme Court. Now, to the second question, you said that committee, to the best of my knowledge, that committee was inaugurated recently under Damagu. That committee was inaugurated recently under Damagu. I think, on the 16th of August 2024. On the 16th of August 2024. So that issue of the national secretaryship has already started. So just like I said, let me let you know, just like I said, now look at this kangaroo petition. See the expeditious approach they had towards it. But I gave you very sensitive information that we even engage a chamber to write to the party that is unconstitutional for the national legal organizing secretary to sign our membership card. That is not constitutional for our national chairman and national secretary to include their names in our membership card. Only their designation and their signature. But he did. They did not answer us. So what we are trying to say is that, see, what we are here to say is to correct any abnormality that we are able to identify and make people know. Moreover, when they begin to create incorrect narrative, because the narrative they are creating to Nigerians and party faithful are not correct, and that's why we are challenging them. That come and counter it. We are reading our party constitution. We are not just saying it. they should come and use this constitution to counter us. That is what we want. Not use your big name. I appeared on Arise with this thing. It was it's so funny and disgusting. You see some leaders will tell you that Senator Damagua has overstayed his tenure. And I asked that leader from Lagos, I said, reference, give me the constitution. He said 3 months. And I said, tell me the section. He could not till we finish that program. And I told him that section you are talking about is referring to state NWC. So they come up and give false narrative. And that's why we say, in this case, we will not accept it because it has caused a lot of harm to the party. And some of our governors are accomplices. They are the ones behind it for their interest and prosy interests. And that's why we have come today to say, no, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Today they are governors. Tomorrow, they will not be governors. Look at this kind of issue that somebody forged a document with or without petition. We expect the disciplinary committee to invite such a person. I told you 5 countries I received a call concerning this matter. There's somebody that did this kind of a thing. What are you telling Nigerians? That you don't have credible person to be a national secretary? Let's assume, not consider that Ayahu should go. So you don't have any other credible person from Imo State or the Southeast? And let me make this clear finally. Our former legal advisor from Kaduna, Jacob Mark, said your people can remove you. There is nowhere in the Constitution. You are elected not by delegate from the Southeast alone. You are elected by delegate from the Southeast, from the Southwest, from the South-South, from the North Central, from the Northwest and Northeast. And that is why we want to let Nigerians know that based on this Constitution, nobody, no zone can remove anybody. Thank you very much. No more question? Okay, thank you. Please. Yes. No, what we are saying is that our leaders should allow the status quo to remain. And that is, Ayahu remains the national secretary pending the pronouncement of the Supreme Court. That is it. Thank you.